Wednesday, January 10th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including the rescue of a dog in icy water, why you might be seeing helicopters flying around this week, and much more. Kevin Coleman is in with your forecast and later on a Nutmeg Sports Update, and Donald Eng will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, in an update on a story we brought you yesterday, Norwalk police have identified the two men who died in a crash Monday night on Connecticut Avenue. Police are investigating the double fatal crash on Connecticut Avenue where two vehicles collided head-on Monday night, killing 50-year-old Frank Peterson III and 40-year-old Anthony Johnson, both of Stamford. Now, a man in the other car was seriously injured. Police responded to that crash near 789 Connecticut Avenue just after 10 p.m. Emergency responders found the two cars, a Subaru sedan and a BMW, in the middle of the roadway with extensive damage to both. Now, Peterson and Johnson were found dead in one of the cars. All three men had to be extricated by the fire department, and the injured man was transported to the hospital. In other news, two Darien parents were charged with failure to prevent possession of alcohol by a minor following an underage drinking party at their home on January 5th. Now, police received a call about the party at about 9:30 at night and responded to Renfield Lane home in question. Now, upon arrival, officers found several youths running in the area, and they saw several young people inside drinking alcoholic beverages. Now, officers spoke with the homeowners, Serge and Anna DeRoshan, who said that they had allowed their son to have some friends over for a small party, but more guests arrived than expected. Well, the parents said they did not provide alcohol to any of the partygoers, and they were unaware that drinking was taking place. Well, while searching the home, officers saw clear signs of a party involving about 60 youths, many of whom fled the party into the freezing temperatures when police arrived. Well, the DeRoshans were issued a misdemeanor summons to appear in court on January 17th, and the Darien Youth Division and Darien High School resource officer are following up on that case. Well, in another Darien story, police officers along with the Darien Fire Department yesterday afternoon responded to 5 Mile River Road on a report of a dog in distress on the icy waters of the 5 Mile River. Now, that dog had made its way to a small patch of grass but became stranded as the tide came in. Well, the Darien Fire Department quickly donned cold water gear and using a nearby dinghy were able to reach the dog and return to shore where it was reunited with its owner uninjured. Now, police and fire shared those images of the rescue that you saw. You can get more at DarienTimes.com. And Eversource is sending out low-flying helicopters this week to survey damage to power lines following last week's snowstorm. Now, one helicopter will be checking high-voltage lines, and another will check for tree limbs or branches that may have broken in the high winds and be in a position to damage a line and cause a power outage in the future. Well, the helicopters will be doing their work surveying from Tuesday, January 9th through Friday, January 12th, from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, weather permitting. Now, one helicopter is blue and gray with the number N1431W on its tail, and the other is blue and white with the tail number N411DD. And in other news, Ridgefield First Selectman Rudy Marconi, a Democrat, has officially dropped any thoughts of running for governor. Marconi had expressed some interest in running last April when he appeared on HAN's CT Pulse. Well, he told the Ridgefield Press this week that he'll be working on Ridgefield issues in 2018 and hoping to run for First Selectman again when municipal offices are on the ballot in 2019. Now, Marconi spoke to the press about his priorities for the year. He said they range from advancing local projects like the sewer plant renovations to the state's Main Street improvement plans, to the town's Schlumberger site, to related Branchville projects, to continuing to be a strong voice on the statewide battle against opiate addiction. Now, the sewer plant renovation expected to cost $42 million, with $32 million of it coming from local sewer users and taxpayers, tops that list. There's going to be more on that story in this week's Ridgefield Press. And several new laws went into effect this month, including those concerning opioids, auto insurance, occupational licensing, commercial real estate, as well as transactions, fertility preservation, and taxes. Well, among some of those noteworthy laws is an act preventing prescription opioid diversion and abuse. Now, it requires that prescriptions be transcribed electronically to safeguard against overprescribing, as well as reducing the maximum number of days for a prescription from 7 to 5 for minors, and allows patients to request that drugs other than opioids be prescribed. Now, another new law is an act concerning the definition of a veteran for a certain honor and certain benefit. It broadens the eligibility criteria for certain veterans' benefits and allows additional people to receive a service ribbon and a medal to be buried in a Connecticut veteran cemetery or have veteran status indicated on their driver's license or identity card. Now, there will be much more on the state's new laws in this week's Wilton Bulletin and on wiltonbulletin.com. And in other news, there will be a panel discussion in New Canaan this Friday on human trafficking on both a local and a national level with U.S. Senator Chris Murphy, Grace Farms, the Justice Initiative Director Krishna Patel, and legal expert Vincent Napo. Now, that panel is going to be Friday, January 12th at the Grace Farms Sanctuary. Well, Patel will serve as the moderator for Freedom Fighters, the battle against modern slavery. Now, after the discussion, the public is invited to the screening of a film that chronicles the battle that several American mothers are waging on behalf of their middle school daughters who were victims of sex trafficking on Backpage.com, the adult classified site that for years was part of the Village Voice. Now, Senator Murphy has long supported efforts to combat human trafficking and provide rehabilitation for survivors in the U.S. and around the world. There's more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. But taking a turn now, let's throw it over to Kevin Coleman for a look at your forecast. Kevin.
Thank you, Kate. Looks like the brutally cold weather is off to the side for the moment now, as this week a little bit of warm weather coming into our forecast. Today, sunshine, a high of 36, and tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low around 30, a balmy 30, may I add. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 46. As we roll into the weekend, Friday, we're going to see temperatures rise up to 55 degrees, but unfortunately, we have some rain in the forecast on Friday and Saturday throughout the weekend. So hopefully, the warm weather will stay with us for some part of next week as well, Kate. But that'll do it for your weather update. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Lang will take a look back on this day in history. Kevin has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this. We know it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all, from Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. SCAP Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Call, click, or stop in today. Save thousands at the 2018 Auto Show event and start something new sales event. Now through January 31st.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Bay Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
Welcome back to this January 10th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. It's time to get a look back on this day in history with Donald Ang. Don.
Well, you could almost see the torch being passed in San Francisco, but first we're going to go all the way back to 49 BCE, when Julius Caesar crosses the Rubicon River, signaling the start of the Roman Civil War, one of the Roman Civil Wars anyway. Now, the Rubicon was the traditional border between Rome and the outer provinces, and the Roman Senate had foreseen the danger of a consul leading an army into Rome. By crossing the river, Caesar essentially declared war on the Republic. Crossing the Rubicon remains an expression that indicates an action from which there can be no turning back. To 1901 now we go. A drilling derrick in Spindletop, Texas, near Beaumont, produces an enormous gusher of crude oil that flowed at a rate of about 100,000 barrels a day. Now, this was the beginning of the oil business in Texas, and for that matter, in the country. Petroleum at that time was used primarily as a lubricant and in lamps as kerosene. Coal was by far the leading energy source. Wood, number 2. Today, just one company, ExxonMobil, produces more than 5 million barrels of oil each day. To 1994 now in Manassas, Virginia, Lorena Bobbitt goes on trial. She had been charged with maliciously wounding her husband, John. That's a bit of an understatement. She was acquitted by reason of temporary insanity after detailing John's history of physical and emotional abuse. Lorena has since stayed out of the spotlight, still living in Manassas with her teenage daughter. She currently runs an anti-domestic violence nonprofit agency. And finally, now we go to 1982 for this.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
The right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark!
Pretty sure I saw that ball move there. We might want to check the replay and make sure it was a catch. That, of course, was Dwight Clark making a catch, the catch, as NFL history records it. That one play symbolically transferred dominance in the NFC from Dallas to San Francisco. The upstart Niners had not won a championship in its 35-year history of the team. They would win 4 out of the next 9. That is your look back in history for today, January 10th, and I'm Donald Lang.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, an application for the much-discussed Shelton Shelter Ridge development will appear before the city's Inland Wetlands Commission on Thursday at 7 p.m. in City Hall. Now, the application appearing before Inland Wetlands, which was filed on December 21st, 2017, says that the 121-acre development would disturb a small portion of the property's 3.56 acres of wetland. Now, Shelton's Planning and Zoning Commission approved the development that would stretch across part of Bridgeport Avenue, Mill Street, and Buddington Road back in March. The P&Z's approval of the Shelter Ridge application led to a lawsuit being filed by a group of residents looking to have that ruling overturned in order to protect the city from what they call overdevelopment and instead consider more responsible developments. Well, to date, the organized group opposed to Shelter Ridge and overdevelopment, known as Save Our Shelton, has raised $30,000 via GoFundMe to help pay for a lawyer for the case. Well, according to SOS's Facebook page, the group is still looking for help to pay the bill. There's more on that at sheltonherald.com. And Connecticut's birds are generally well adapted to New England winters, but the Connecticut Audubon Society says that doesn't mean you can't help them through periods that are particularly cold and snowy. Now, they say the keys are food and water. You can give birds plenty to eat, and when ponds and streams are frozen, fresh, clean water is particularly important. There are a few simple ways you can help birds in the winter based on the best advice from Audubon officials. Now, first, you can keep your feeders filled and lightly scatter seed on the ground for birds that don't like to perch on a feeder. You can also hang suet for woodpeckers, especially recycle your Christmas trees by placing it on its side near the feeder for birds to use as cover. You can also provide a source of fresh, unfrozen water. No matter what the weather, birds need to drink. And in other news, Straight Talk with Tracy is tackling common eating disorder myths on this month's new episode. Now tomorrow, Thursday, January 11th at noon, Dr. Sarah Niego joins host Tracy Masella. Now, Dr. Niego discusses myths about gender, the impact of media, family, biology, and more. Dr. Niego is the service chief of Silver Hill Hospital's eating disorder program. Now, you can watch the show Thursday on HAN.network and HAN's affiliated community news sites, or you can watch it on demand later. Now, Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs the second Thursday of each month on HAN. All right, let's throw it back over to Kevin Coleman now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Kevin.
Thank you, Kate. An old school rivalry was renewed last night at Richfield High School. The battle for Route 7 as the Hatters took on the Richfield Tigers, two of the top teams in FCI boys basketball early on in the season. It wasn't the prettiest of games. The Hatters were only held to 8 points at halftime, but the Tigers took home the victory over the Danbury Hatters 54-38 in front of a rowdy Tigers Den gym. Let's take a look at the highlights from last night. This is the ISO they want.
Spinning is Burton inside, and a strong finish for the junior. Case, strong rebound by Burton. Wants to push the floor. Loose ball. Tigers with it. McNamara up off the glass, and it's good.
Letting Danbury have second opportunities.
Jordan Brown trying to post up down low. He's matched up with St. Pierre. Hernandez stepping into a three, and it's good.
Just like that, Danbury's right back in it.
20 seconds to play, 28-21. The Tigers lead at home. Hernandez in the corner, three-pointer on the way, good!
Man, he's money.
And now Nakel a catch and shoot three. Oh, gets it to go!
Oh, got guys who can shoot. Dangerous team going into the playoffs.
How about that one? Denali Burton on the drive, throws it down. As Richfield remains unbeaten and atop the East, they knock off Danbury 50-38.
Tigers with a big win last night. Brendan McNamara, the senior captain, led the way for the Tigers with a game-high 19 points. And Alex Price of the Tigers had himself a big fourth quarter, going 3 for 3 from three-point land to seal the win. The Tigers now sit 5-2 overall, 4-0 in the FCIAC. Let's take a look at some of the out-of-town scores in the FCIAC from last night. In girls hockey, Darien with a big 1-0 win over the Grange Cardinals. In boys basketball, Ward took down St. Joseph's 83-63. Bridgeport Central over New Canaan 58-45. Wilton was all over Staples 86-65. Trumbull took down Brian McMahon 67-54. Norwalk behind Benacasso's 37 points took down West Hill 65-56. Greenwich all over Ludlow. They took down the Falcons 39-27. Trinity Catholic took down the Blue Wave of Darien 52-42. And in girls basketball, Trinity Catholic taking down Darien 62-56. Trumbull all over McMahon 73-37. Norwalk, they were all over West Hill 82-27. Ludlow gets a big win over the Grange Cardinals 58-40. Ridgefield completes the sweep over Danbury 54-38. New Canaan takes down Central 48-20. Ward 55, St. Joseph's 21, and Staples with a big statement win over the Wilton Warriors in girls basketball 51-34. We'll have FCIAC girls hockey on tonight at 5:40. No Nutmeg Sports today, but keep it locked into the HA Network. We'll be live at 5:30 as we get set for FCIAC girls hockey. That'll do it for your Nutmeg Sports update. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. In an update on a story we brought you yesterday, Norwalk police have identified the two men who died in a crash Monday night on Connecticut Avenue. Now, police are investigating the double fatal crash on Connecticut Ave, where two vehicles collided head-on Monday night, killing 50-year-old Frank Peterson III and 40-year-old Anthony Johnson, both of Stamford. Now, a man in the other car was seriously injured. Police responded to that crash near 789 Connecticut Avenue after 10 p.m. Emergency responders found the two cars, a Subaru sedan and a BMW, in the middle of the roadway, both with extensive damage. Now, Peterson and Johnson were found dead in one of those cars. All three had to be extricated by the fire department. The injured man was transported to the hospital. And two Darien parents were charged with failure to prevent possession of alcohol by a minor following an underage drinking party at their home on January 5th. Police received a call about the party at about 9:30 at night and responded to the Renfield Lane home in question. Now, upon arrival, officers found several youths running in the area and saw several inside drinking alcoholic beverages. Well, officers spoke with the homeowners, Serge and Anna DeRoshan, who said that they had allowed their son to have some friends over for a small party, but more guests arrived than expected. Well, the parents said they did not provide alcohol to any of the partygoers and they were unaware that drinking was taking place. Well, while searching the home, officers saw clear signs of a party involving about 60 youths, many of whom fled the party into the freezing temperatures when police arrived. Well, the DeRoshans were issued a misdemeanor summons to appear in court on January 17th, and the Darien Youth Division and Darien High School resource officer are following up on that case. In another Darien story, police officers along with the Darien Fire Department yesterday afternoon responded to 5 Mile River Road on a report of a dog in distress in the icy waters of the 5 Mile River. Now, that dog had made its way to a small patch of grass but became stranded as the tide came in. Well, the Darien Fire Department quickly donned cold water gear and, using a nearby dinghy, were able to reach the dog and return it to shore, where it was reunited with its owner uninjured. Police and fire shared those images of the rescue. There's more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And Eversource is sending out some low-flying helicopters this week to survey damage to power lines following last week's snowstorm. Now, one helicopter will be checking high voltage lines and another will check for tree limbs or branches that may have broken in the high winds and be in a position to damage a line or cause a power outage. Now, the helicopters will be doing their surveying work through Friday, January 12th, from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, weather permitting. Now, one helicopter is blue and gray with the number N1431W on its tail, and the other is blue and white with the tail number N411DD. And in other news, Ridgefield First Selectman Rudy Marconi, a Democrat, has officially dropped any thoughts of running for governor. Marconi had expressed some interest in running last April when he appeared on HAN's CT Pulse. Well, he told the press this week that he'll be working on Ridgefield issues in 2018 and hoping to run for First Selectman again when the municipal offices are on the ballot in 2019. And speaking of CT Pulse, it'll be back this afternoon at 12:30. We're going to be talking about a story that's been in the news a lot recently, and that's vaping among high school students. That coming up at 12:30. But first, let's throw it back over to Kevin Coleman for one final look at the forecast. Kevin.
Thank you, Kate. Today we've got full day of sunshine, a high of 36, and we look towards tonight. Partly cloudy skies, a low around 30. Tomorrow, things start to climb up in temperature-wise a little bit, high of 46, mostly cloudy skies. And on Friday, temperatures could be going up to around 55 degrees, but lots of rain throughout Friday and even into Saturday, including the rest of the weekend. So hopefully this good temperature will stick with us the rest of the way. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been brutally cold, so hopefully the warm weather stays here around Fairfield County. That'll do it for your weather update. Kate, back to you.
All right, it's a nice break. Thanks so much, Kevin. All right, CT Pulse coming up at 12:30. And Kevin, hockey, what time is that coming up?
5:40.
5:40. Okay, so stay tuned to the HAN Network. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll see you tomorrow at 11. Have a great day.